Hello, can you hear me? Let me make sure my volume. Oh, oh. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. Hello to everybody. I've already said hello to everybody already in the chat. Okay. Wonderful. You can hear me. Great. I was waiting for the clock to run down to see what happened and whether it actually went automatic, and it doesn't. So while I was sat waiting, I started another one of my Dorset buttons. So okay, shove that out of the way. Loud and clear, ready for landing. Okay, so I've got all my pieces cut out. The pattern was in the description from yesterday's lead up. So hopefully you've managed to get the pattern. And we're going to start with the centre skirt, and then we're going to do the right and the left panels and leave the top panel for last, because that's the most awkward. So we'll put that top panel to one side for now, and the left and right, and we're going to start with the centre skirt panel. Now this has only got 5 pieces and they're all straight stitch. So the first piece I've already stuck to piece 1, and the contrast piece I'm using is this purple. So you're going to, as we've always done, trim down to your 1/4 of an inch, place them right sides together and stitch close to the edge of the paper or stitch through the paper. Oh, so it looks like Nightbot is working. Yee-hee! Finally, we managed to master it. And after this live, I'm not touching it at all. I'm just going to let it wait. And if it takes till overnight, like it did last week, to load, so be it. We're just going to let it go. I don't want to lose it. Right, so over to the sewing machine. I was trying to get my camera to go near my machine, but it wasn't having it. Okay, so press back piece 2. Fold the paper between, yeah, the exercise resume, you're right, is fold back there, and we're going to trim that off to 1/4 inch, or roughly, if you're using scissors like I do. Okay, and then piece 3 is the same pattern piece as up and down, repeat. It feels like that. I've had enough exercise today. I've been to the doctor's this morning, and then I went round to the chemist, and then I went to the other doctor's surgery to see if I could get some hearing aid batteries. Then we went out and had a scone for lunch, and then we'll come back and now. So I've got my pieces ready to sew, so they're going onto there. Hi, Catherine. So I'm just finger pressing these back. So that's that piece on. Now piece 4 is, again, at the top. It's the contrast piece. So we're going to fold that down and trim those bits back to 1/4 inch. So that's my piece to go on the top there. Place it in position, and we're going to sew on along that piece. That was giving me legs some exercise there. I was that far away from the foot pedal. Okay, and then piece 5 is your background piece. I'm using white, so we'll trim that down. So that's placed in position there, and there's my 1/4 inch. So there's the centre panel done. Hi Mona, thank you very much. So as I said before, with the flared, with the straight kimono, the kimono patterns actually have your 1/4 inch built in. So the blue line is your cutting line, because it's already built in to the pattern to make the 6.5 inch block. So I'm going to trim this down top, left and right, but I'm going to leave the bottom because that will get trimmed when I square it up. So I'll just trim that down, and then this piece then is done and it can be set aside. Get rid of my rubbish. So that's that bit trimmed. So that's that. Don't know what that noise was there. So now we're on to the left or the right piece. And the crick don't rise, I know. Yeah, so again, I've already placed my first piece, which is white. Now the second piece is the contrast, which is this purple piece, which I gave the cut fabric sizes on the other video. So when you're placing it, let me just position it so you can see. Okay, so you can just see under that's the shape that I need the fabric to cover. So if I sew across that line there now, this piece will cover when it unfolds. Okay, so we're going to stitch that piece. Hopefully it will work. And you know what I say? If it doesn't fit, fudge it. Fudge it so it does. use the Sylvia method. Oh, look, perfect. Look at that. See? Fits perfect. So, fold that bit back. I'm going to trim that one down a bit on that edge there. Again, this piece is bigger, cut bigger. So when you line up your pieces and you look at it from that side, if the piece that you folded down, this piece, fits into the area of this fabric here underneath, you know it's going to fit. So before I sew that, let's see if I've missed any questions. Sylvie method, you're a fan, yeah. Fudge it. That's, you see, that's it. You just fudge it. If it don't fit, fudge it. Right, okay. Yes, I have my pattern all ready for the sewing bee, and I have I think this might be an example of a Sylvia method coming up here. A second. Okay, it's a fraction out there, but it's in a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm not bothered. Just it'll fit in the seam. Doesn't matter. Okay, so this one is gonna, again, that's what it looks like, and we're going to trim it down to the blue line on top left. Which one's this? The right. So you can leave this right side and just trim it on the left and the top. Hi Brenda. You can leave the bottom again because we can square it up when it's done. Right, now if you are overly bothered about that little tiny bit that's not covered, might need to iron it. Just take a scrap of fabric, put right sides together, just sew along a 1/4 inch and fold it back, and you're going to have enough to cover it. But as I say, it's within a 1/4 inch of my seam allowance, so I'm not too worried. I must have just fractionally cut that a bit small. So same again for the left panel. Piece one's already in place. So piece two. Again, make sure that it's covering your piece here that's folded back, and if it covers it, you're okay. fold back there. Trim that to 1/4. Yeah, now this piece is fractionally bigger, so I'm not going to have that same problem as I had on the other one. I don't think. Get over. So that covers it. What do I do for hire? Oh yes, I can sort you a dinosaur. You're on Facebook, aren't you, Mona? If you message me the image that you want, I can which dinosaur you want, I can sort that out for you. It's not a problem. Oh, thanks, Colleen. So that's not my up. Once I've trimmed it. That's the left panel done. It'll get trimmed down on that side once it's sewn together. So that's the two right, the left, and the centre panel. So now we're on to this more complicated top one. And it's only complicated because it's got some tiny pieces in it. So as you can see, the first piece is on, which is quite tiny. What's in training? That's fine, Mona. That's great. She's only a mod in training because she's not done it very long. She's still getting used to it. So I cut my first strip, which is going on to piece where piece 2 is. So between 1 and 2, fold your paper back, and I've got cotton everywhere. Put your piece in and stitch. Yeah, she is doing a great job. All my mods do a great job. Give it a good finger press back, and then folding between 1 and 2 and 3. Trim back a bit there, and put in piece 3. So again, if you can just about see where your line is. Make sure your piece covers it, which it does. Do you recognise the fabric, Glenn? I bet you do. I did a couple of great online courses during COVID. One was using your normal machine as a embroidery machine, and the other was patchwork and quilting. And they were great, and they were free at the time because it was COVID. But then they lifted it. Once they lifted the restrictions, they were going to charge you like £200 or £300, and I'm like, I can't afford that. Can't afford that. As much as I'd like to have continued, there's no way. There's a great one with, it's called, I think it's called Stitch and Textile Company or something, and they do a city and guilds in patchwork and quilting, and it's like over £2,000. Hi, Charlotte. Do I want to spend that much money when I can work it out myself? No. I don't think it increases my step count, because I think I'm just swapping from one chair to the other, so I think I only do like one step at a time. So it doesn't increase my step thing. Okay, let's get this next piece on. So now we're on to piece 5, which again is this purple piece. Sorry folks, I get engrossed in what I'm doing and I don't Okay. So there's you can see it's starting to come together. So now we've got the pattern pieces to go in to 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we're just going to trim, and it doesn't really matter, other than piece 6, which needs to go on first, it doesn't really matter then in which order you do 7, 8, and 9. Does it all count, movement? Okay, that's all right then, as long as it counts. That's there. Where's my bit? Is that going to cover that? Yep. That'll cover that. Right. Quick slow. a good finger press back. So get on with piece 7. There you can see the kimono. That's the one we're doing. Colleen, you are not back. I'm back. I've been back since 1977. No, 1976. Better get it right. So, last piece 9 of this one. Going on, trim it down to roughly a quarter. I nearly stuck it on upside down then. Okay, that one. It's a pretty block, this one, I must admit. And although it's got more pieces than the straight kimono, I prefer this one. I think it looks prettier. Right. Okay, so now we're on to piece number 10, which is, again, still pattern piece. So we're going to fold that line and trim it to, so it's always trim, so press back, trim, so press back, all the time. That's all you're doing. Yeah, but Lynn, I don't think you've tried any yet, have you? Have you done any? Okay, so that's that one on. Now, 11 and 12 are white. 13 is your pattern. You can go rogue and put 13 on before you put 11 and 12 on if you want, because it's on another side. That's what I'm going to do. Put 13 on and then put my white pieces on. But as long as it's on the opposite side to where you're working, doesn't matter. As long as it doesn't overlap with any that you've just this minute sewn. So that's it so far. Coming along. So now we're going to put on the white pieces. So I'm going to, again, doesn't matter which side you do, whether you do piece 11 first or piece 14 first, doesn't matter, because they're both the same and they're on opposite sides. Oh, hello, you've woke up, have you? Woke up, have you? Stay up. Oh, careful, don't fall over. I'm sewing next to the paper. Can you just make out? Can you see the stitching? Turn it that way, you might be. There's the stitching there, and the paper's there, and it's the stitching's there at the side of it. Yeah, I don't sew through the paper because it hurts my hands too much to peel it off. When you sew through the paper, you've got all that unpicking of the papers to do afterwards, and it just absolutely kills the arthritis in my fingers. So I always sew next to the seam, which also means then I can use this template over again. And before I start sewing all the pieces together, I'm going to give them all a good press. Yeah, it's sewing through the paper is ideal if you're new to FPP. If you feel confident, then fold your papers back and sew next to it, because it saves all that unpicking, pulling it out. And if you print your pattern onto freezer paper, you can actually iron your pieces back as you go on freezer paper, and your pieces will stick to the freezer paper, so they're not going to move and shift. I just use an Elmer glue stick, and I only stick the first piece down, and then I don't bother sticking any others. Okay, so 3 more pieces on this bit, then we can trim this one down and give them all a good press, and then we can see what it looks like. Now, you see, I did 14 and 15 before I did 11 and 12, but it doesn't really matter which way you do them, as long as they're on, like I say, on the opposite side of the pattern. Just bear with me a second, sorry. How are we doing? The elephant, I've done that elephant one, and my goodness me, there are thousands of pieces of paper. Yeah, I did that elephant one for my daughter. Dear me, that was a lot. It is a big one. The other one I did was, I think it was called So Dear, and it's an antelope. Oh my, it's just the head with the horns. Oh, that has a lot of pieces on and on. I can't find that pattern for that So Dear anymore. It must be out of stock. They must have diminished it or whatever. Because it's really pretty nice pattern. Right, I am actually going to use the ruler on this one because it's quite a long piece to trim my 1/4 inch. Okay, so there's that piece. Just wants one more piece on the top now, which is going on there. Okay, let's turn the iron on for a minute. So that's the piece. I'm just going to trim those up. I think I'm going to use my roller to trim them. It's quite long then. Okay, that's the iron ready. Just move them bits over there while we give them an iron. and everywhere. Okay, so I've got all my pieces ready. I can now take off paper because I'm done with that part of it. Now you're going to take your centre one, and you're going to take your, well, it's either the left or the right, and I can't remember which it is. You're going to line them up at the top, match your tops and your sides. Now, mine are different lengths at the bottom because I left some longer pieces so that I can trim down to 6.5 afterwards. So we're just now going to sew a 1/4 inch seam down this side and then add the other side. Now, that's the piece that had that little bit missing, and as you can see, it's now fixed into the seam, so you can't tell that it was missing a piece. You know, I thought I'd done that wrong. See, that bit there should be white, and I've done it in pattern. See, even I make mistakes. So I'm going to rip that out. Where's my rip? Come on, trusty ripper. So I've got to undo that seam and take that I've just done as well. So when I cut them all out earlier this morning, I'm just going to take this one down a fraction. Right. I'm not even going to rip out the whole of that seam I've just sewn, because as long as I've got enough for me to add some white in. See, we all make mistakes. Yep, seam ripper song. Right, white. White, white, white. So as long as I've got a piece of white that is bigger than that piece, I'm just going to add it onto there because it's going to be an outside edge of where I want anyway, so it'll be trimmed down afterwards. So that's that one fixed. And just fix this one. Hi, Patty. So, as you can see, everybody makes mistakes. Even I make mistakes. In fact, I make loads of mistakes. But I only rip out what I need to rip out. So this was the piece that I'd sewn the centre to the left. So I just unpicked it down past that seam and then re-sewed that in and then re-sewed that seam back up. And then just redid the same with this side, which I'm going to stitch on here now, which is going to match at the top of there. And then I'm just going to trim the top so that it's straight once I've got these on. Now, if you made that mistake and you were sewing through the papers, if you put some masking tape or sellotape on the paper side and put that on, and then when you take your stitches out, you're still going to have the sellotape holding the paper together. Otherwise, your papers could rip. So if you put sellotape on it, that helps to keep it in one piece. So now I'm just going to straighten this edge up, and I'm going to line it up with this line at the top. Okay, so that's that bit. Now we just need to add this piece. Now, where your two seams are coming down on these bits, they're the bits you want to match to this centre piece. Yeah, ripping in between the two pieces of fabric rather than the papers, and it will help to hold it all together, because the sellotape will keep the paper in one piece rather than it all ripping out. Okay, let's press this back. Turn my iron off. I've got to turn it back on again. Get rid of some of these threads that are hanging. Some of these where I unpick the seam, bits of thread. So just going to press it. So there's your kimono, flared kimono block, and then I'm just going to square it up to 6.5 inches all the way around. Ooh. Iron and computer leads don't make good friends. Okay, get rid of them. Let's get my 6.5 inch ruler. So there's the block squared up. Let's check. Right, so next week is the last week. Last week in this series next week. And I'm looking at this lotus flower. I've done a couple because I was going to use these as a border. I don't know that I'm going to put a border on because I think it looks quite nice as it is without the border. I mean, oops, I could have add just a wider edge and top to it, but do I really want another huge block on it? Not sure. So I'm going to put that out there next week, the lotus flower, because obviously some might want to put the lotus flower in instead of, say, the comb, or instead of the fan, or that's entirely up to you. But after next week, the pattern for the lotus flower and all the other patterns will only be up until the Thursday of next week. Then they will all be taken down and only be available to be bought through PayPal. So if you want to do it, download them all now, because after next Thursday week on Thursday, they will be gone. So what's your opinion? Do I need a lotus flower border on it, or do I just put a wider border around it? Say a 3 inch. Yeah, thanks, Colleen. 23rd. What would you do if it was yours? Would you put a 3 or 4 inch border on and not have these all the way around? Yeah. Ooh, that's a good idea. 4 of them in the corners and then a wider border. A white border, yeah, that sounds a good idea. I'd have to shrink these because these are, I think these are 7.5. Oh, these are 7-inch blocks. These are. So I wouldn't need. I'd have to shrink them down and do smaller blocks. But yeah, that's a good idea. I could do that. Yeah, I think you're right. It would be too busy. You're not lazy, Colleen. You're not lazy. After I've done them, I thought they don't look. They're thinking to me make it too distract from the middle, and I don't want it to distract from the actual. Yeah, think tank. Yeah. Okay, Nancy. So all the patterns on every Friday. If you go back, there is. I don't know how many. It's 2 kimonos, comb, lantern, castle. What else? What did I do last week? Oh, fan. Yeah, so I think it goes back over 6 weeks. Yeah, I think they go back over 6 weeks. I'll put, actually, when this loads up afterwards, I'll put all the links to all of the previous videos in the description box after this is loaded, but it could take till tomorrow morning before it loads. Oh yeah, you see, I've got a playlist. I keep forgetting about my playlist, Melissa. It's a good job you remember. It is a good job you remember because I forgot. Yeah. You will get an error, Patty, because I've closed it down. They were charging me for doing nothing. I wasn't putting any more patterns on it. I wasn't selling any, and they were still charging me. So I closed it. So that's why, if you want any of the patterns now, if you email me, then I'll send you a PayPal link invoice, and then you can pay it, and then I can send you the. Oh right, okay. I didn't realise it was still under it. Okay, thanks, Colleen. Yeah, I'll do that afterwards. Yeah. So, is there any more questions on that flared kimono or on this Japanese quilt at all? After next week, when this one's finished, then we're starting a mystery. Hi, Cheryl. I'm just finishing. You've arrived as I'm going. Yeah, replay. Always replay. Yeah, okay. Right. Well, thank you very much to my wonderful mods for watching the chat and looking out for people and answering their questions. And if there's no other questions on this, then we'll say good night, good day for now, and then I'll see you all tomorrow on Melissa's chat. Yeah. See you as well, Colleen, I hope. Yeah. I'll see us all there tomorrow. Okay, so thank you very much, and have a nice day, everybody. Hopefully it won't take us long to load. Thanks, Lynn. Right, okay, so I'm saying goodbye, and we will see you all tomorrow.